Yeah, well, I haven't done a podcast before, but we're here with Leander, obviously the branded goat.
Let's go.
And we're supposed to talk about just YouTube, I suppose.
We can talk about anything, man.
Yeah, I don't have too much planned, but obviously there's a lot of stuff going on with on Twitter, on YouTube, everywhere. People are talking, like they're talking about AI this, AI that, all that kind of stuff. And like we have very different ways to do YouTube, I suppose. Although I've done YouTube the way that you do it as well. Like all of these methods, they work, but there are still very different ways in growing a channel and getting started.
Exactly, and I think like you specialize in AI right now mostly, right?
Yeah.
And I've seen your tweets as well. Like you're calling out to people saying that, of course, it doesn't work anymore. AI doesn't work. Everything gets demonetized, terminated, whatever. That's just complete bullshit, right? Like me from the branded perspective can even see that that's complete bullshit because we also use AI. Yeah. Like it's not that AI is suddenly rendered useless because this new policy, this inauthentic policy is in play or whatever is going on, right? It's just that people are lazy.
Yeah.
So if you are lazy with AI, you're going to indeed get demonetized or terminated. That's the new rule, right? So you can still use AI, you just can't use it to generate images anymore and paste them after each other and upload it. So the barrier to entry gets higher, but it doesn't mean that AI suddenly can't be used. And I think that's the main problem. But of course, the people that are looking to get rich quick will always have excuses if something happens.
Yeah, I think literally every single tweet that I post with any kind of result or related to YouTube whatsoever, there's always like 5 guys immediately just posting, sadly this won't make you any money. And the screenshot is literally of someone making money with this kind of content. It's so funny. And as you said, like with AI content, the people that are running into trouble and the people that are getting demonetized for whatever reason are the people that are just creating slop. And as you said, they're just lazy people that are trying to create the lowest effort content that you possibly can create. What we do, for example, when we create channels, is not create slop. Like we're still doing YouTube. I like to call it the traditional way, but it's not really the traditional way. But like cash cow channels, all that kind of stuff. But we're only using AI to make the workflow more efficient, cost efficient, but also faster, and that doesn't really affect the content quality too much.
Yeah.
And that's like the main mistake that people are making. They're using AI and they're making their channel just crap. Yeah. And then they wonder why they get no views, why when they get views, they get into trouble with the channel. And they're just sitting there like, what did I do wrong?
No, yeah, I agree. And I think this is a wake-up call for a lot of people that automation still works, but you probably need to think a little bit differently about it. So indeed, try to perhaps make your videos a little bit higher quality, right? Like I'm not talking about going full branded, what I'm specialized in, of course, but make it a little bit higher quality. Maybe add a few touches here and there of personality or anything that can really make you safe from anything that can be deemed inauthentic, right? Because I've talked about this before. It's very vague as to what YouTube means with inauthentic content, right? Yeah. And their description, of course, says a lot. Right, it can't be templatized content. It can't be just feel generated. It needs some sort of human touch. It has to be perhaps of educational value.
Yeah.
So I think now more than ever, especially with the new policy as well with related channels, where they're cracking down on that more. As soon as you have one channel demonetized or terminated, they're taking your whole portfolio out. It's even better to be safe than sorry, right? So it's better to just take the risk and maybe go a little bit higher quality and add a little bit more human input in there just to be safe. Like I don't think people should operate in the gray area anymore unless they know exactly what they are doing and have the systems in place to deal with terminations and all that stuff.
Yeah. So for everyone watching, if you are unfamiliar with YouTube, when we're talking about inauthentic content and what kind of content gets in trouble, as we're recording this podcast, we can both agree that it's kind of like when you just generate these AI images, you put them in like a slideshow, almost like a video slideshow, like a presentation on Canva, and that is the video plus a voiceover.
Yeah.
And that's what will get you in trouble. However, if you create a video, let's say, super random example, a video about cars, with actual footage of cars showing and actual unique commentary about the cars, this is quite unlikely to get struck by like inauthentic content. So when we're talking about AI slop and the content that is not so good to create, like we're talking about people just putting images after each other. Like there's barely any video showing or anything. It's just images. And people would call this like the standard AI story kind of channel, I guess.
Yeah.
Which did work really well. Don't get me wrong. Like these channels were printing like crazy amounts of money a few months ago. But I guess YouTube kind of caught on and decided that it's time to put a stop to that.
Yeah, the thing is like, there will always be these gold rushes and trends, right? But the problem is, and I've said this to Warner yesterday as well, is that people dedicate their entire strategy to a gold rush, right?
Yeah.
Like as soon as these AI channels with simple images started blowing up, people suddenly became experts in doing that. But by doing that, you're also not building the right skill set to survive in this game long term when it comes to YouTube automation. So a lot of people, all of their channels got wiped out, but not only that, also their skill set, right? It's similar to investing your entire life savings into a meme coin and hoping it works out. Sure, like you could get insane gains, but if it all gets wiped out all of a sudden, then you don't know the skills to properly invest into perhaps better assets like Bitcoin or even the S&P 500, right? Like you don't have the skill set to then continue your investing. And of course, all your money is gone. But I see it very similarly. Like recognize these gold rushes as they are. If it seems too easy and everyone makes money, be careful. Exploit it if you can, right? Definitely. But also know the game you're playing. Like none of these things are forever. When politics was happening, right, and the politics channels were
guys
popping
were
up,
making like what, like 100K,
100K per month or something with politics. When everything seems easy, you should always be aware of the potential risks because nothing in life comes easy.
Yeah, and like we have many friends, right, that jumped on this politics train, and they made a ton of money, which would be life changing for a beginner, for example, getting into online business. But after 2 or 3 months of running that channel, it got terminated, and it just kind of sucks.
Yeah,
like you don't have too much left if you're only dependent on those.
Exactly.
And me, for example, like what you said about kind of establishing this skill set in terms of learning just YouTube overall and not just focusing on one type of channel. Before I started like teaching and getting more into this AI, not AI only, but more AI prone channels, I was doing branded channels like you. And like I think I'm the perfect person to testify that all of these channels or all of these different strategies, they really do work. Because branded channels, like I made millions of dollars at this age, even before I turned 20 with these branded channels.
Yeah.
But I've also made a shit ton of money with these AI channels. So it's really just about, I would say like what would be the perfect like channel to get into if you, not if you're a beginner, but depending on your like situation. For branded channels, it would be perhaps, like what do you think? You're the expert here, right?
So I think it depends on two things. So first of all, I think it's personality type. I've helped beginners with branded channels, but the main thing between all of them is that they are very creative. So they've done shorts for like a social media company, or they've dabbled into YouTube before, and they don't like the whole volume approach, and they don't like the whole outsourcing systems, VAs, whatever, right? Yeah. So a lot of people are business minded, and for them, I'd say YouTube automation is perfect. But some people just want to spend a bit more time quality controlling the videos and making sure that they're building something that they enjoy as well and that they feel proud of, right? Some people are just wired like that. And then trying to force them into YouTube automation, I'm not sure if you've had that problem before, but it depends, right? It depends on their mindset. But some people I've just had come into my program that were like, I just didn't enjoy it. I couldn't make it work because it was just too much headache for me. Yeah. Right. And those people then suddenly succeed with branded. So I think it's personality types, first of all. Second of all, of course, it's capital as well. Yeah. So I don't accept anyone who doesn't have any form of cash flow coming in. So I don't care if you have $100,000 in your bank account. If your investment into a branded channel contributes to your overall net worth declining, right? And perhaps you getting into debt because you're trying to build a branded channel, that's not good.
It's not gonna work.
That's why most of the time I'm working with people that have already done automation and have a channel cash flowing, or they have a very high paying job, right? I'd say if you literally have no money, right? Like no cash flowing money, and you could have capital on the bank, right? But if you have no money, I'd say YouTube automation is the best way to start, right? Unless you're like super creative and you can do a lot of things yourself, because those people we can sometimes help. But most of the times YouTube automation is then the best starting platform because it's very easy to get into, right? Like with AI, it was even easier because anyone can generate an image and like put it into CapCut and make a compilation, right?
Very eventually just
exactly
down.
But there's also one level above that, which is more traditional YouTube automation, and even that I would say is easier to learn than suddenly getting completely into branded, right? So I think for most people that's the best way to go forward.
However, though, I think like some people, very many people that I talk with, they don't have, or they might have money, but they expect to invest like $0 and then make money online, which is just like, I kind of cringe every time I see this. For example, me, when I started YouTube a few years ago, I think I spent like 8 months just creating my channels, uploading content, spending maybe $3,000-$4,000 on just content alone, which was very big for me at the time because I was just working the standard like 9-to-5 job, I guess. It was also going to, or actually that was after high school, but I was working just the standard 9-to-5. And you know, 3K or 4K for someone that is working a 9-to-5, that is not making a top CEO salary, that might be a lot of money. But still, if you're getting into YouTube or any business model overall, and you expect to make like 10K per month, but you don't want to invest anything, like it just doesn't make sense. So like if you're completely broke, like dirt broke, you don't have any money, then I would probably just, I think this is kind of universal advice as well. I would just focus on bringing up or like saving up money from your regular job until you have something to invest. Because like if you're really dirt broke, then like even regular YouTube automation is not going to be so easy for you. You can do everything yourself. You can definitely edit videos yourself. You can, you know, script videos yourself, but then you're also kind of taking the business aspect out of YouTube from the business model, which doesn't make sense. Because editing, if you're going to edit cash cow videos and you want to get results as fast as possible, you want to optimize your strategy to get results, then you will need to upload multiple times per week or 3-4 times per week, match your competitors' upload frequency. And if you're editing videos yourself, then how are you going to be able to fulfill this frequency? It's not going to be possible, especially if you're also working a 9-to-5 job like most people who we work with are doing. So yeah, I would definitely say that you need some kind of buffer or budget so that you can outsource at least the editing. Like script writing, sure, you can do yourself because you have AI, all this kind of stuff. Voiceover is also just AI. But the editing itself, if you want to create a channel that does not get demonetized, you should be treating YouTube as a business and outsourcing this.
Makes sense.
To optimize the time that you have.
Yeah, makes sense. Of course, like I don't really have a lot of experience in YouTube automation, right? So I was just making a guess, but I'd say that does make sense because for every business opportunity you're going to enter, you kind of need starting capital. Like I'd say YouTube is one of the best models for that. Very good. But you still need starting capital. There's no business model in the world that can give you high ROI returns with no money invested. Like that doesn't exist. Literally nothing.
It's like getting into trading and like you don't want to invest anything, but you're expecting to make a $10,000 return from your supposed trade. You don't even invest in anything.
Yeah, because the thing is like trading, you can enter perhaps with $50 already, and then you can celebrate a $50 win. I made $50 today. Let's go, right? So,
but that would be a huge win if you make $50 from your $50.
Yeah,
if you think about it.
Of course. Like I'm not going to get like technical here, right? But even then, like yes, you can start with less money, like $50 for example, but you won't make that much money from it. That's right, and YouTube automation, sure, you perhaps need a couple of thousands of dollars to invest first, but if one video blows up, you can instantly make that back with that one video, and then everything besides that is profit.
It's so exponential as well.
It's crazy. That's why I love YouTube so much, and perhaps then also YouTube automation, because indeed, like you can invest just like $1,000 and get really lucky with one video, and then instantly make $10,000 from it. Like the profit margins and the ROI is unheard of. Like even with drop shipping, I don't think something like that is possible, right? Of course, you can test with lower budgets and stuff. Yeah. But I don't think. I mean, it depends. Like I don't have experience, so I don't want to, of course, overstep here. But I think YouTube automation is just a lean business. It's pretty easy to learn, I would say.
Yeah, it's very easy. You don't need any prior skills.
And the ROI is great.
Yeah. Like when it comes to YouTube, it's just as an example on how exponential that it is. Mm-hmm. Most beginners, they just sit and upload content. They don't really get anywhere. They're trying to get monetized. They're trying to get these followers go viral. But they don't understand that as soon as you have one single video that blows up and goes viral, then you will be monetized. You'll most likely be making at least 2K per month from that channel if you go viral and get this momentum. And that's really all that you need. So when you're seeing these people on Twitter that are blowing up, some people blow up on their second upload. Like we've seen people in my program that blow up with their second upload. Life's great. They're making this money super, super fast. But this is not how it's going to be for everyone. Like some people, they post 14 videos without any results whatsoever. Then boom, 15th video, they blow up, and now life's great as well. But YouTube really is exponential. And for a channel to earn, let's say, $10,000 per month, I would argue for that this channel earning 10K per month, it takes the same amount of effort as a channel that is earning 3K per month. Would you agree or not? It's just difference in this strategy.
It's difference in the strategy indeed, and it's difference in the positioning as well. So what we do with Branded, of course, and I think that's the main difference, is we try to retain as many returning viewers as possible. Right.
Let's actually just before the people watching, they might not know like what is the definition of a branded channel.
So the definition has been transforming over time. Like a lot of people like to use the term branded. People might have seen it going around on X, and there's been a lot of hate on it because it's not clear what it is and where the line gets drawn. So for me,
but everything is like, if we just try to paint up the picture, like the umbrella of everything is still YouTube automation. If we look at the like base term, then branded would be.
But even that could be debated, because how much of YouTube automation is actually automated fully, right?
I mean, like, with I think with all business models, like the name of the actual model, or like how easy people pin it up to be, is not always like coherent with what is actually going on. So YouTube automation, it doesn't mean that everything is 100% automated. Yeah. It means that you're treating, I would say that the definition of YouTube automation is that you're more treating it like a business than a hobby. And that's the main like distinction. Because a business, you would always be looking at how you can, outsource some of the parts that are taking a lot of your time. You would be looking at how to make it as profitable as possible and how to scale it as fast as possible. But with a hobby, you're more content with just, you're doing it because you're enjoying it. And if you get instant crazy results, you don't really mind. It's good if you do, but like it's a hobby, right? It's something that you're doing for fun. You're not doing it to make money so that you can live your life.
Makes sense.
So YouTube automation, maybe we just have different views on this, but I wouldn't say that YouTube automation means that you have to 100% automate everything and just,
I mean, I think YouTube automation, it's called that way because the end goal is to have it fully automated. And I think it is possible.
That's true.
So I think the definition is just purely the ultimate outcome. And the same is for branded, in my opinion. Like, branded to me, ultimately, is to have a profitable brand that has IP has systems and SOPs, SOP, right? But just on a larger scale.
Yep.
Is diversified in monetization on the back end. You own your audience off platform. You have a substantial returning viewer base that's not returning for just the topics on your channel, but also the person behind it, right? All of these factors make you into a brand or like a media brand, but it's not like you can spawn that overnight. It's not like, oh, all of a sudden I'm building this massive Disney sort of media company, right? Within a week. It's all like, so for a branded channel in that sense, to me, it's just a foundation to ultimately get to a media brand, right? And I think that confuses people because most people are like, oh yeah, branded channel is just marketing, it doesn't exist. But for me, it does exist because it's just a foundation to build to that ultimate outcome, right? And I think, no offense, but on a YouTube automation, the typical one, or like whatever you then like to call it, that sort of channel, you don't have the right foundation to go to that level of media brand, right? And I think that's the main difference. Like for me, this is like a little bit of passion, but also like very big thinking. Like I'm very bullish on YouTube in the long term, where I think anyone can build their own sort of media brand on the platform, right? Like you can think about it what you want, you're renting the platform, whatever. As long as you abide by the rules, I think you can definitely leverage it to make a play like that, right? With YouTube automation, it's more so like, this is an amazing opportunity to make cash flow, right? And most people are fine with making 10K per month, having maybe a couple of channels. Not being invested too much, right? Because to get to that media brand level, you need to be very invested.
It needs to be your full-time job.
Exactly.
Like you can't just do it on the side.
Exactly. And with YouTube automation, I think it can be more of a side thing. I think that's the main difference.
Definitely. Yeah. I would say also that most people that then turn out to become, you know, big in the media company kind of space and running these super big channels, many of them start off by just, you know, starting a YouTube automation channel, or like a not a YouTube automation channel, I don't like to call it that, but a more simple channel, perhaps a more like cash cow channel with the focus of just earning money through ad revenue and stuff like this. And yeah, so branded channels, like since I've been on both ends of the spectrum, like I've done a lot of cash cow, a lot of AI channels, a lot of branded, all of this kind of stuff. Like I would say that a single branded channel that has gone really, really well, that is performing super well, like this will be the kind of channel that will make you the most amount of money by far and be the best long-term asset by far.
Yeah.
But also what you have to keep in mind, if you are a beginner getting into YouTube with no prior YouTube experience whatsoever, it's going to be very difficult for you to start a branded channel, also mindset-wise, because it takes, I would say that it takes longer to grow a branded channel to the point where you want it to be than a cash cow channel. It's just more difficult. Like, would you agree on that or no? It's kind of more difficult to create the content. You need more rigorous like SOPs. You need to, how can I put it? You need to be more sophisticated in some way.
I agree. No, I absolutely agree. I think you make a great point there. And for me, that has been a problem I've been trying to solve for a couple of months, right? Because my problem is I either go super premium, and I only help people that have like $1 million in the bank account and they want to go for that Disney level, right? And we offer the premium version, or I make branded channels accessible for anyone. And the problem is indeed, if you want to do branded right instantly from the get-go, you need a lot of capital, and we will be on your ass every single day to quality control everything, right? And it's not made for a lot of people. We've had a lot of people drop out. We've had a lot of people give up even after 2 videos, right? Like we have the strategy in place, even after 2 videos, they're giving up. So for most people, that might not be the best fit. So for me, my strategy now is to kind of combine YouTube automation with branded. So first we're going to find an MVP, right? Like first we're going to, sorry for the jargon there, but we're going to try and find a concept that works with the market, right? That could be a little bit lower quality, could be heavily supported by AI, but that still has the foundation to build something branded on top of it, right? Because the thing is, I'm not going to deny that people from your program and you yourself can move very quickly,
Yeah.
right? Because you guys can literally, if we find a gap, let's say we both find a gap at the same time,
Yeah.
you'll always be able to fill that gap quicker than me.
Yeah.
So considering that we have the same skill level, the same ideation, the same everything, you'll always be able to execute quicker than me. And even though I might then be able to execute better, on YouTube, that doesn't always matter.
No, speed is very,
first mover
very
advantage
important.
is very, very important. So
I think that's something that most beginners overlook as well, how important speed is.
Exactly. Because like if your gap gets taken by someone else, then sure, you can still compete with them, but at that point, they already have taken topics that you could have covered, right? And as soon as you're a competitor on topics, it's a race to the bottom. It's the one who basically rinses the topics first. So knowing that, I had to adapt my strategy as well, right? Because I have to stay competitive with people like you.
Yeah.
It's true, right? Like, so even though we have a different vision on the long term, I still need to also have a little bit of speed, because a lot of people, when they think of branded, they think, oh, I just invest $100,000 in 3D videos and I'll just produce them for 5 months and then I'm going to upload them and it's going to work because it's the highest quality possible.
It's not going to work.
No, because within those 5 months, an entire market can change.
Yeah.
Right? So like, I know some people that started producing 3D videos like 4 months ago.
I was one of them.
Okay.
Or not 4 months ago, but I've been in this exact boat.
Rest in peace.
Yeah. When I had so much success with How to AI, obviously, I would say it's the channel that I'm kind of known for in the space, if you want to put it like that. I started that channel when I was, 18 in high school. It turned out to be a great success. But after I saw this success with branded channels, I immediately got into this position as you pinned it out. I started like these 3D channels because I thought like, just the higher quality editing or the like more super advanced stuff that costs a lot of money to produce, the more money you just chuck into it, the better results that you will get. But then
not always the case, because indeed I know one person that has done that. It took like 4 to 5 months to even get the videos out. And at that point, like the market has completely shifted. AI has now taken over a lot of the 3D work, right?
Yeah.
And we see now just Fern's niche being completely cannibalized by AI channels. Now, that's where I personally think the brand comes in, right? Because I think Fern will never die out because they're continuously adapting.
And that has to also do with the first mover advantage.
Yes, but I also think that the first mover advantage allowed him to get to this point.
Exactly.
But to stay there is what is due to the brand, right?
Yeah.
Because a Black Files, for the people that might have seen that channel, right?
Yeah.
It's all the new hype. I'm not sure if they're going to stay in the position they currently are in, because the supply and demand is insanely twisted now. So like the demand still heavily outweighs the supply when it comes to 3D content in hackers, crimes, whatever, right? Yeah. But as soon as that supply demand sort of like changes, where the supply is heavier than the demand, then I'd like to see where a channel like Black Files will end up. Because
I'm not too familiar with it, to be honest.
It's like a 3D AI channel that basically uploads like 4 times a week or something, talking about topics that Fern hasn't covered yet, right? So they're in the same sub niche as Fern, and they're basically covering all the topics that Fern hasn't done yet.
Yeah.
Now, Fern noticed this, and they are basically expanding into any topic they want to talk about, whether it's in 3D or 2D, and they're sending journalists into the field to actually they're like adapting by including more humans into their content. So that sort of thing is what will separate the brands from automation, right? But Black Files is making a shit ton of money, don't get me wrong, right? So like you don't need to build a brand like Black Files. I've said in another podcast, I challenged even the Black Files owner, because I know he's on X, like, please make this into a brand. Like, most people are too lazy to do it because they see the revenue coming in. They're like, I'm chilling. But I challenged him, like, please make this into a brand, because I think you can. But you don't have to. You can also just chill with the cash flow, just stack it up, invest it maybe into something else like real estate or whatever, right? And just perhaps build a new automation channel if it dies out. Right? That's also a strat. So I don't hate on either strategy, but I think you have to recognize that there could be 2 paths, right? Like you could turn something into a brand, but you could also just purely look at things for cash flow, and both are right.
And like, if you're very diligent with how you move, it's really niche dependent. So this is not a one size fits all kind of thing. But if you are diligent in how you strategize and everything, like if you have a very successful cash cow channel, I would argue for that you can turn it into a branded channel eventually, if you do it the right way. Like, it's a very thin line that you have to thread on, and it's very niche dependent as well. But like, a regular cash cow channel will not be something that you can run for 3 years.
No.
If you want to turn it into something long term, you either have to turn it into a branded channel, which is very difficult, but I would say for some niches it's possible, or you have to, and this is also why you see like the most successful faceless guys in terms of YouTube automation and AI channels, they're not running one channel that is making up for their entire income.
Yeah.
Like, they are running, some of the guys that we met now in South Africa when we were there like a few weeks ago, like they are running, 30, 40, 50 channels, some of them, like insane amounts of channels. And this is kind of how you have to think when it comes to YouTube automation and the volume game. And that is also why speed, which we talked about, is so important. Since if you run only one channel, eventually that trend or that kind of channel will fade off. And if you're going to keep on making a lot of money from this kind of game, you have to have 4 other channels making up for that one fading off. And you have to constantly start new ones. Like, now I'm talking about the top level of YouTube automation. So if you're a beginner, don't think that you have to get in and start 5 channels just to survive. That's definitely not how it is.
Because that's the main problem with beginners, right? Because we're talking about something inspirational here that should motivate people to what's possible.
Like, this is 150K per month that I'm talking about.
Exactly.
I'm not talking about if you want to make 10K per month or 20K per month, which is a lot of money for a lot of people.
Exactly. And the thing is as well, like, I think you hit the nail on the head here. Like, you either make one channel a brand, which extends the longevity of it, right? And then you still have to expand. I would never rely on one channel, but I think you can extend the longevity.
I did that mistake for a while.
Exactly. So I think you can extend the longevity of it by making it a brand. You will eventually have to expand, or you accept the fact that eventually it's going to die out. So you're going to, of course, open more channels, but probably just way, way, way more channels, right? But that also brings implications. But indeed, the problem that beginners are making are thinking that, I should open 5 channels. Or as soon as they see one channel doing well of them, I should open 5 more. But the problem is that you're going to get distracted. And as soon you have to take into account that every new channel you open takes your focus away from the channels you've already built and are doing well, right? Unless it's completely outsourced.
Yeah.
Right? The SOPs are in place and everything is outsourced, including the ideation, and the performance of the channel either stagnates or goes up. Yeah. Anything else is bad.
Yeah. This is a very, very, I think I talked about this probably last time a few days ago in my group call with the community.
Yeah.
Like, there are so many people, especially not so experienced people, that when they see their first successful cash cow channel, maybe even branded channels, I don't know how it is on that front, but with cash cow channels, they get monetized maybe super fast. They start earning like 2-3K per month from this channel. And then instead of scaling this channel to 10K, which is very much possible if you already have a channel making 3K, they start thinking like, the grass is greener on the other side. I think this is a very common problem in business overall, even for myself and many people that I talk with, that I might be super successful with my YouTube automation stuff and everything, the program, all this kind of stuff. But at the same time, somewhere within me, I just want to start a new business, or like start a software, or like invest into real estate and get into that. Like, you always think that the grass is greener on the other side for some reason. And in YouTube, this is gonna fuck you up. So
I mean, could be anywhere, even relationships, right? Like, grass is greener on the other side. Like
it rarely is greener for anyone.
It watching. Rarely is, yeah. So like, I mean, if we're going that deep, like, you have to indeed think like, is this next step something that makes sense? And in YouTube, it's indeed, if everything is outsourced, then it could make sense, but also test it first, right? Like, perhaps go on a holiday to fucking Greece for a month, let your whole team run it. If the performance of the channel goes up, well, you know that you can start a new channel, right? And for you with business, it's like, okay, do I want to scale this coaching or my YouTube channels even further? Or do I think there's a better opportunity for me in software, right? And for you with coaching, that is also something that is currently running pretty well, and where you have SOPs in place and where everything is
really good results as well with
that. Exactly. So then I'd say software makes sense. But I'm currently like still pretty much very heavily involved in my coaching, and we're still in the starting grounds, right? Like we're still in the testing phase where we have a small group. If I were to start a software now, it would be suicide, like career suicide, literally, for the coaching as well. So I think it really depends on the stage you are in. And for most people, it makes sense if they are making a lot of money and everything is outsourced. But indeed, like the instant, like I think a lot of beginners just see the diversification argument being made, and a lot of gurus like to talk about it, and it's valid, but not for beginners. So
no, I think it hurts most people that tries to get into online business. Like many people, they try trading, agency, drop shipping all at the same time, and they wonder why they're not getting results.
Exactly, and I think that also is another problem, that people take advice from everyone, right? Like nowadays, on every social media platform, everyone is giving advice, and people are very bad at filtering out what is the right advice for them. So.
And I think, sorry to interrupt you, but circling back to this stuff that we said in the beginning as well, with people commenting on others' posts, like this will not work. I think that's a very sad situation that we're in, because many beginners might see some random guy with 5 followers on Twitter commenting on my post that it's not working, and that causes them to not start. Yeah. Because it's just awakes this kind of doubt in their head by a guy that hasn't even tried it himself.
And that's the thing, like people that don't have knowledge about something like to hate on it, right? That's why I've gotten some hate on branded from YouTube automation, because they don't know what it means, right? And branded, I try to defend my guys as much as possible, but they're also hating on YouTube automation, right? I don't respect it, but like it also happens because it's all slop, it's all like destroying the platform, whatever. I don't agree. But the problem is like everyone is giving advice nowadays. Yeah. And some people are at level 100 and some people are at level 1, right? And if you are at level 1 and you're listening to someone who's talking about proxies and IP setups and whatever, like he's talking to the people that already have channels that are doing well, and he wants to protect them, right? And some beginner might look at that post like, wait, I need proxies?
Yeah. Buy 10 proxies, buy 5 monetized accounts.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, no, you need to just look for the expert that is perhaps a few steps ahead of you or is targeting people like you, and listen to him. And then as soon as you get to the next level, that's when you could listen to other. Like I sometimes also have YouTube automation people and AI story guys looking at my tweets and asking me questions. I'm like, you're at the wrong account. Like you shouldn't listen to me. I'm talking about branded. Yeah. Like some people are like, what is the niche? Like, bro, it's not about the niche. Like you're in the completely different side of X right now. You should be on the other side, right?
It's like asking a crypto guy about stocks.
Exactly. Trading. Yeah, exactly. So I think people, and that's also laziness, man, nowadays. Like there's so much information out there, which makes it easy for you to learn, but you still need to filter that information. And that is also a skill in itself.
Yeah. Like when it comes to learning, investing in, I know that coaching and these programs are kind of frowned upon online. And also, like, for example, me, I'm from Sweden. If I talk with someone and I say that I have a coaching program without providing any more context about results or what we do, then the reaction that I will get is like, you know, what the fuck? Or like, meh. Like, it's kind of a bad reaction. And the sad thing that I think most beginners get brainwashed into thinking is that all kinds of coaching is a scam, when in reality, it could be the best decision that you make in your life ever. For example, me, like even though I might be making $100,000 per month at a very, very young age, I'm still purchasing coaching from other people to take me to the next level. And if I had the knowledge that I had today and I went back to when I had gotten nowhere with anything, I would probably be joining a coaching program, because the direction and it's rarely about the information itself, because all information is available to everyone online. You can be watching these YouTube tutorials. You get all the information that you need to start a successful business. But the execution and consistently like taking accountability on yourself, it becomes 100 times easier if you're in a coaching program that actually cares. And that's a very important factor. Like if you're joining, Andrew Tate's The Real World, I don't know, I don't want to hate on anyone else's program that I haven't joined, but I would doubt that you get the same level of support that, for example, me or Leander would provide you with.
I'd say like, you have to recognize how the game is being played. Like I don't want to bring down anyone's hustle right now, right? But here's how the game works. And this is for all the people listening right now that want to take coaching, right? The bigger someone's personal brand is, the higher the likelihood that most of it will be outsourced, right? And the more it will be outsourced, the rarer it is that it's actually going to help you. Now, some people are killing it. Right, I'd say Alex Hormozi has everything outsourced. Well, he's the exception then, right? And I'd say for you, it's also outsourced here and there, but still, like it has your personal touch to it, right? So you have to find people that truly indeed care, and I think that also, like, you also have to remember, like, the more personalized something is and the more people will help you, the more expensive it will be. So you will get exactly what you pay for. So if you're going with the biggest personal brand that has a huge program, it might be cheaper, right? It might be like $90 for a course and just a community, but that's not going to help you, right? Sure, it's cheap. And it's personal brand, so he must be credible. But it's not going to help you because they're playing the volume game as well. Like they recognize I have a big personal brand. I can expand my reach. Everyone will buy anyways, right? And as long as they get like a couple of good case studies from that, they're good. But that also means that if you want to actually get into good programs, they will just cost a bit of money. That's just, otherwise it's not worth our time to help you, right?
No.
And the more we get paid, the more inclined we are also to help you, because if you paid me, for example, $500 to help you, I would just be like, you would be my lowest priority. Right. Like
if you want, you make in a day. So
exactly, if you want the most valuable people to help you, you also have to pay them accordingly, and that's gonna probably make people upset. But
no, but it's true. Like I think it's so funny. With people, I probably get a few DMs per day on Twitter, for example, where I have quite a big audience of people just asking me for free coaching. And like, oh, can you coach me for free for 6 months and then I'll pay you back? Like, you have to understand that with people that actually care about their programs and want to give people the best possible experience, like I have YouTube coaches in my program that I have to pay tens of thousands of dollars to every single month. So would it make sense for me to just let someone in for free when I'm making a loss of $20,000-$30,000 per month? It doesn't make sense. So if you truly want the premium experience, you have to also set your expectations right in terms of investing into your skill set, because you have to keep in mind, if you learn how to start a branded channel, or if you learn how to start a YouTube automation channel, you're also like teaching yourself the business skills that you would need to run a 7-figure business. With YouTube, I think why it's such a good starting point for anyone looking to just get into business overall is that when you run a YouTube channel, even though it might be quite surface level information, it's quite easy to get into, like you are learning how to hire people, which is arguably one of the most important skills in business ever. You're learning how to hire people, how to outsource your operations. You're learning how to scale up a brand. You're learning all of these very crucial business skills for quite a cheap price.
Coaches add value, right? So my coaches, I mostly have production coaches right now. They are better at production than I am. Like I don't know how to do something in Premiere Pro. They do, right? With you as well, like I know you hire people that have actually gotten results on YouTube themselves.
Like we have a coach making, I think, $30K per month on YouTube with cash cow channels. And for you to hire someone that is making $30K per month, you have to pay them quite a lot of money.
Otherwise, they don't give a shit, right? And I know Warner does that as well. And I know the best out of the best, like Wiz of YouTube, Andrew as well, like has people actually that are good at what they do. Right, and I think then it's good to outsource. But I've also experienced a program, I'm not going to name names, but where you paid a pretty hefty fee and you suddenly get your main coach is like a client success manager, and
it's a VA from
and it's just like and oh yeah, what is your experience? Yeah, nothing, but I'm starting some channels right now. I want to test, and that's the one who is coaching you, right? So I think outsourcing is very good, but only if you indeed outsource it to people that are either better than you, indeed. Or indeed 70% of where you are, because 30K per month is still insane.
You have to be aware of this.
Exactly.
When it comes to like YouTube and all of these things, like what we talked about before with the speed, I think that's where AI truly comes in to like give you a big advantage with your channels.
I agree.
So what AI is supposed to help you with, if you're using it the right way, it should allow you to move much faster, and it should allow you to move faster but cheaper as well. And like this is really I was one of the first to start incorporating AI into the YouTube strategy and into my channels and everything like this, and that might be the reason why I was very successful at a very young age. I don't know, but this is also kind of what you have to prioritize if you're a beginner getting into YouTube. Like if you're creating this AI slop, it's not going to take you too far. You might be learning a lot about AI. That's great. But if you truly want to get these kind of results that we're seeing people get, you have to prioritize speed over anything. The people that I see that they might join the program, they pay this fee, they pay everything, they get super good coaching, but they don't get any good results. These are the people that spend 5 weeks trying to decide their first topic.
Yeah.
So like, even if you can decide your first topic, it's not the best topic, but you decided within a few days and you create your video immediately, I would say that this will take you further than spending 2 months on getting your first video out.
I mean,
it's different if it's branded.
No,
because branded is really quality driven and all of this kind of stuff.
It depends. Like, I think I agree with you. I agree with you in the sense of, indeed, with YouTube automation, and if it's all about speed, you need to prioritize speed. With us, of course, it's a little bit different. So we do spend more time on market research and ideation because we know you guys are filling up all the gaps with AI, right? So we have to think outside of the box. So indeed, thanks to AI, my job has become more difficult because before, like,
sorry, bro.
No, it's okay because I need to adapt as well, right? We're using AI too, so our speed has also increased.
I think everyone needs to adapt to it.
Yeah, of course. I mean, not everyone. Like, some people are always behind, but like we can just naturally not go for the lowest of the lowest quality, right? Like the bare minimum. We always have to be 20% better if we want to build that foundation. So indeed, with AI, what has happened is before you had this format called Why It Sucks to Be, right? And there were all these animals and it was super trending.
Why It Sucks to Be a T-Rex.
Exactly. And AI wasn't that popular back then, I would say.
No.
It was still like on the come up.
Yeah.
So then like second channel started popping up, third channel started popping up, and it was all about animals still about animals. Then a couple of months later, it started going through to sea animals and then prehistoric animals. And then someone brought it to history. And then we brought it to space. Yeah. Right? And there were like, I think...
What do you mean? Like, why it sucks to be a planet?
Yeah, and it worked. Bro, it actually worked. Like, that started the channel up.
That's funny.
But that took like 4 to 5 months. So we had 3 months to start that channel, produce the content, make it the highest quality possible, because nobody was thinking about space yet. You see, when something becomes trending, everyone is looking at that one thing and jumping on like hyenas and not looking at anything else. Yeah. So you always have to be ahead of that. And with what we're doing, we have to be not only 1 step ahead, but 2 steps ahead, because back then it took like 4 months. Now there was this new format that was trending, the worst devs ever, right? And as soon as that one channel, a talking head, blew up with it, within I'd say a month, every single sub niche you can think about was taken with the worst devs ever. And I know one of the guys that runs one of the biggest channels in that. Literally, he is opening new channels every single day and uploading like 3 times a day with just every single topic you can think about with the worst devs ever. Like the worst devs ever in the outdoor space, in carnivals, in whatever, right? So at that point, if someone can fill those gaps that quickly with AI, then you have to think differently, right? If you need a little bit more runway. But I think another issue that brings is that the best of the best will fill those gaps even quicker than beginners. So how are you planning?
Same day it's filled. Like as soon as the video goes viral, boom, same day gap is filled.
Exactly. So like, how are you planning to deal, for example, with these killers and these entire Vietnam content farms leveraging AI to just completely spam the platform and fill these gaps as quickly as possible?
Yeah.
Also, like, probably think outside the box, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's very important. But like what we like to bring up in my program, for example, is this is a very universal term in the space. Like I'm sure you use this as well, like the 80-20 rule, like when it comes to YouTube. And if you're unfamiliar with YouTube, what this means, I'm sure you already know, but for the people watching, 80-20 rule means that basically on YouTube, if you want to maximize your chances of success as a beginner, you should not be inventing something completely never seen before. Like with the planet stuff that you mentioned, it's something unique that people might not have seen before, but you're still repackaging a proven concept, right? And when you're using the 80-20 rule, which means that you should be kind of, I don't like to use the word copy, but you take inspiration from 80% of your competitors, and then you add 20% of your own unique flavor, your unique sauce, whatever you want to call it. And that's exactly what you did with the planets, right? So you found this concept of like why it sucks to be a T-Rex and why it sucks to be insert your own animal kind of stuff. You took that very proven concept that you can see a lot of people really enjoy watching, and then you applied your own unique flavor to it. And I would say that this principle applies equally much to like regular cash cow channels to branded channels. Because if you are getting into a cash cow niche and you see like something that is going absolutely nuts right now, it's kind of borderline what you should be doing with AI. So if you're watching this, please be mindful. But people are like posting these lectures of a famous scientist called Richard Feynman. And they're using AI to make a very similar voice of him. And they use like lectures that are basically similar to what he has said before. I would not recommend if you're a beginner to get into this, because if you're playing around with similar voices or someone's voice, you can get into trouble. But these channels are like absolutely printing. I've seen channels like this, they blow up within the first month, earning 40K per month, within 30 days of starting. And like if you're a beginner coming from a 9-to-5, making 40K in your first month, like this is life-changing money that will probably change your perception of how easy it is to earn money forever. But back to the 80-20 rule. So if we have this niche, for example, you could be having the Richard Feynman stuff. What we would be doing is, let's say you see that this format of taking like a very famous scientist that many people look up to is performing really well. You see how people are patching the videos, the thumbnails. You do the exact same thing, but you just choose like a different scientist, for example, Albert Einstein. And that's like the simple way to explain the 80-20 rule. Yeah. Is there anything you want to add to that? Is it something that you guys use for the branded channels as well, would you say, or focus on like proven concepts?
The thing is like that's why I asked you, because of course I think the concerning thing for beginners is that the experts are so good at filling the gaps quickly with AI, right? Because they have more experience. But indeed, then you need to think 2 steps ahead. So in that sense, our strategy is actually the same. And I recognize that too. So I strongly believe in that case, it all comes down to ideation and experience, right? Like who can find the better gap quicker.
And the more experience you have, like the easier it is for someone to just look at a channel and know like, this can make me a lot of money. Exactly.
So, but even then, like, of course, I'm hedging myself against that too, because the longer the game is played, the better people get, including the beginners, right? So I also have another strategy for that too, to hedge against that too, but I won't get into it, otherwise my whole sauce is gone. But yeah, that
you
is
have to buy the program, people.
Exactly, otherwise like I'm cooked. So that is the way to indeed differentiate yourself from the experts, because when something is popping off, right, a trend is ongoing, a lot of the experts will actually directly compete with that trend because they're able to move quickly. So while everyone is focused on that one thing, you should indeed already think ahead, like, okay, how can I transfer this over to another niche or another person or another topic, right? And it's a little bit riskier because you don't know if that concept would work for that niche or that topic, right? You will never know for certain, but high risk, high reward. So you have to differentiate yourself. And I would also say, like, with branded, we are looking for different niches than you guys are perhaps looking at with automation.
It's very different.
We're not going to look at lectures and stuff, like, because we know,
it's
that's
very, very
not
different.
in the plan. So I think there's also so many niches that people are just not looking at. Everyone's looking kind of at the branded niches, right? Because those are the ones that get leaked on Twitter and are the fanciest and look the prettiest.
Yeah, they look the prettiest, exactly.
But there's so many niches out there that nobody's talking about, that are under the radar, and like indeed lectures that nobody knows are fake, for example, right? So that's why I think one of the key factors to what I see in people getting success is how good are you in going down rabbit holes, right? So start with something, maybe an interest, maybe like a channel you like. Search for keywords related to that and see how deep you can go. Sometimes I got into niches where I'm like, I started with space and all of a sudden I'm in some weird ass construction niche. I'm like, this is an amazing opportunity, right? And that's only because you continuously look for more keywords, you click on more channels, you get recommended new channels. And the more research you do, the deeper you go, the better opportunities you're going to find. Because anyone can see the service level channels. But if you do research yourself, you're going to find more opportunities as well.
And when it comes to niche research, like it's the most important skill.
Absolutely.
In all of YouTube. Like if you could be, I think I've said this 1,000 times over now in other content, but if you have Mr. Beast level content, but you're in a fucking crap niche, you will not be getting so far. Like you could be spending thousands of dollars on your content, but if it's in a niche where there's no demand, no one cares about your content, then you're not going to make any money. And like what you said with like going down this rabbit hole, literally the YouTube algorithm works that the more faceless videos that you click on YouTube, the more faceless videos you will be recommended. So niche research is all about just putting in as many reps as possible. It's like the gym. So if you go to the gym for one day, you're not expecting to become a bodybuilder in one day, right?
No.
So why would you think that online business or niche research is the same? Like you have to be putting in the reps every single day, becoming better at it, like looking in terms of the strategy and what you're looking for. I think the biggest mistake that most beginners make is they go onto YouTube, they expect to find a niche within a day, so they force themselves to pick something that they find during that first day.
Exactly.
And that is ultimately why they fail as well.
Exactly. And that's the thing, like for me, I found my best success when I was literally in the trenches every single day doing niche research every single day. Even for ideation, right? Even if you're trying to come up with topics, the more exposure you have to the market, the more you're going to remember as well. So I think getting good at ideation as well, for example, so like topic selection, etc., like title structures, is just exposure to the market for a long period of time. So people have known me and nowadays might still know me, maybe not for the branded, but for ideation. Like there was this period where people knew me for ideation.
And you're doing strategy, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm doing strategy. I'm doing ideation for big media companies as well. So people think that I have this talent for ideation or whatever, but it's literally just like autism level obsession of just looking at YouTube homepage and
retard maxing.
Literally just like looking every single day at the platform, at outliers, and remembering that stuff. Like I'm pushing 30, so luckily my long-term memory is like still good. But so I should probably write things down before that deteriorates, right? But I think like at one point, the more exposure you have, the more you're going to make connections. So my ideation today is just, I'm seeing an outlier. And I'm like, wait, I've seen that title structure like 6 months ago on another channel. What was the name again? Go back to that channel. I'm like, wait, a pattern is evolving here. A positive pattern is evolving here. So I work all on patterns. So one outlier video is good data to me, but not enough. But as soon as I see an outlier video being packaged in different ways, for example, right, and they all do well, that is what I would like to call a positive pattern. And then it's like, okay, now we can work based on this pattern and try to see if we can use that for our own channels, right? And you can only spot those patterns if you know they exist, and you only know they exist by being on the platform every single day and spotting them and perhaps writing them down, which is a better strategy than just trusting your your memory, because that's not a good thing. But
yeah. So some just background about you. You said you're pushing 30. Like, how long have you been doing?
why you have to bring that up again?
How long have you been like doing YouTube for? Strategy included, all that kind of stuff.
So strategy, I started doing, I would say, like 2 years ago now. But YouTube full time since 2019. And YouTube in general since I was like 14, I would say.
Yeah.
So I've been doing this thing, like YouTube in general, for, I would say, I mean, close to my birthday, so 15 years now.
Yeah.
Which is insane. Like the full-time thing, I would say 2019, it's not 2026. So I would say full-time almost 7 years, and like actual, like serious YouTube since 2016, so 10 years.
Yeah. Damn, that's crazy.
I mean, it's the same thing with video editors. Like, I'm sure everyone can relate if they're hiring, right? Like even the beginners.
Yeah.
The video editors always say, I have 5 years of experience editing videos.
Yeah, and they have 2 months.
Exactly. So experience doesn't mean anything, right? So that's why I'm saying, like, you're 21, right? So I don't know, you don't have 10 years of experience probably because you were 12.
It's quite difficult.
Or like you were 11.
Yeah,
so
it's quite difficult.
But I would say you're on a similar level. So I don't think decade-long experience is bullshit, right?
Yeah.
Like that's some LinkedIn-ass bullshit. Like it doesn't matter. It's all about the value you can create, right? So I never like to include that in conversations or credibility or whatever. Like it has allowed me to see more. So I do think a decade-long experience will show you the changes of a platform.
Yeah.
It will show you patterns that are evolving. So it will definitely give you an edge. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I've seen people get to my level within 3 months by just locking in. So that's why for like all the beginners, if you're looking up to people like us and think, oh, these experts know everything, right? It's all about exposure. If you can do what I did in 10 years, because I made a lot of mistakes, and I was also taking breaks, and I was, spending my time on girls and all this random bullshit, right? If you compress all the things I've done in 10 years in a year, which you can, because I just did a lot of stupid shit in the meantime, you can get to a similar level.
And that's literally how a coaching program works.
Exactly. And a coaching program can, of course, supercharge that even more, indeed.
If you're the kind of person that executes.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
I think you can relate to this a lot as well. People that want to join, for example, mine or yours program, and you can immediately tell that they're a person who will not execute. Like, these are not people that I hope that you don't let in as well, but that we do not let in because we don't have any interest in letting people in that we know will fail. Because that doesn't benefit us in any way, shape or form. Since we pay our teams these crazy amounts of money to provide this top tier service, the individual profit on a single member is very slim, if anything. Mm-hmm. We make our, like we benefit the most from our members and get the best growth and everything if we get people the best results, because it ultimately turns into a case study that we can show, and that grows the business the most. So I think where many people go wrong with coaching programs and why it has the reputation that it has is simply because there's so many people out there running these coaching programs with surface level information, and they're literally taking on anyone they can just to make as much money as they possibly can. And like what that results in is just a lot of people who maybe aren't even fit for coaching. They get taken into the program, they get 0 results, and then they just go and tell all of their friends and family that like this is a scam. When in reality, if they just executed more, it wouldn't have been the same situation. And like, it's a shame that coaching has gone so far to the point where it's kind of stigmatized. And if you even mention the word course, like you're a scammer. Yeah. But yeah. Yeah,
I'd say like, the thing is like, courses get a lot of hate, and a lot of people.
I get why though.
I get why. And a lot of people, and I think course selling, like selling a course, just a course,
is too old.
It like no one should do that anymore. It should always have some sort of accountability involved.
Yeah.
But I still sell a course, and I like to say that with chest on this podcast right now. I don't give a shit. I sell a course, right? But the only issue is I can't say that in my marketing, because if I say, we offer a course or whatever. Indeed, thanks to the bad actors, that is now completely like career suicide.
Yeah.
So now we have to hide it behind a discovery call. Like, I mean, if you're, for example, not a good fit for the one-on-one, or I think you are able to do it all with course and accountability, I would provide you that option. And a lot of people take that. Yeah. So the demand for courses is not that, because I'm actually almost selling more courses than one-on-one coaching. Yeah. But the problem is, if you just say that directly in your marketing, all of these naysayers will just hate on it, because course now equals bad thing. And even like, we can go deeper on this, guru was never a bad word. No. Like, guru was always something positive.
Yeah, like the definition of the word guru is something really good, right?
Yeah. So I still like to use the word guru. But the problem is, I'm just sometimes saying like automation gurus or gurus this, gurus that, because I genuinely mean it in the sense of like gurus in the space. Yeah. But now guru is just literally an insult. So like, I think some bad actors were the reason of this. But I don't think it should deter people from actually selling or buying courses, because I think they still work, but with accountability. Yeah. Unless your course is amazing. But I rarely know courses that can literally just automatically generate insane results.
It's rarely about the information. It's more about how you implement the information. Exactly. And with coaching or with a program, coaching program, mentorship program, all that kind of stuff, you get someone that tells you and expects you to execute. So if you do not execute, subconsciously you're thinking that you're letting someone down. And I think that's a very big thing as well.
Exactly.
What are like the most common questions that people, or like most common misconceptions that people have when it comes to YouTube and stuff?
The most common,
or like business overall also.
Business overall. I think indeed the main thing that I've just seen is the get rich quick. Like, I've had people on discovery calls, which I instantly knew, okay, you're a better fit for YouTube automation. But even then, I've heard them talk about other programs, and they were like, oh yeah, I mean, I've seen the case studies and stuff. So like, it probably has like an 80% success rate. So it's almost guaranteed. Like, I'm going to go into debt for this because it's guaranteed.
Yeah.
Nothing is guaranteed. Never think something is guaranteed, right? I've seen people get the most success by just saying, fuck it, I'm going all in and I'll see what happens. And I don't care if it takes a year, 2 years, 3 years, I'm going to make it work. Rather than people that are like, yeah, I'm looking for ROI in like the next 3 months or something. It's not like you're renting an Airbnb or whatever, right? Like, you need to expect the least, and that's when you get the most, is what I've seen so far.
Yeah. And once again, I'm gonna use the same analogy that online business is like the gym.
Yeah.
Because if you go to the gym for 3 months, you're not gonna get the best results. The people that are getting the best results from their business and the gym are the people that are going consistently every single day, even if they're feeling like shit, or even if they perhaps are not getting the best results that they were expecting. They're still showing up to the gym. They lock in with their diet, which perhaps could be transitioned into mindset if we're talking about business. And like, they're not expecting these super fast results. I would say that the get rich quick scheme people are kind of like people who want to take steroids. Like, they're just going to take steroids to try and get these crazy results so fast, but eventually it's going to backfire on them, because either they'll quit because they're not getting these results, or whatever, they're getting into OnlyFans management. Like, steroids equals OnlyFans management in my eyes. It's just basically, some fucking like, sure, you can make a lot of money, but you're also selling your soul, because.
But I mean, I'd say probably like OnlyFans managers is probably also pretty difficult to get into, I'd say.
I think it's a lot about connections. I think it's a lot about connections. Now, I'm obviously not a fucking OnlyFans manager professional, so I don't really know. It would be alarming if I were.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't really speak on OnlyFans management. I think it's just mainly about connections, like with most businesses.
Makes sense.
But I would imagine that it's a much less tapped market. It's less, not saturated, but it's less competition because so many people refrain from doing it due to having morals. But also the market is way smaller, so the competition, I guess, would level out in somehow.
I mean, the demand definitely outweighs the supply, but I'd say like more and more girls are going the direction of OnlyFans. I don't want to make this an Andrew Tate podcast, so I'm not going to. I'm not going to continue into this way. But sorry to bring it back to YouTube, right? I think for people that are listening to this and that are beginners and that are doubting whether they can make it or whatever, and just to continue on your point of getting reps in, I have an amazing inspirational story of a person I've worked with since the beginning. So when I first started coaching like 2 years ago, I took on 3 people for 500 euros per month, which is insane. Like best deal of their life. And one of those people was Mouse. If you're listening to this, Mouse, I love you. Shout out to you. Mouse is, don't hate me for this, but I think like in his late 30s, roughly.
Imagine it's like 22.
Don't quote me on that. No, don't quote me on that.
I'm going to put it as the thumbnail. Mouse is in his
No. Please don't. No, I think I'm roughly correct here. But Mouse, I would say, was a complete beginner. Yeah. Right? Mouse was a complete beginner. And he started with me to create one of these channels. Back then, I wasn't even focused on branded. It was just creating a Faceless channel for him, right? We at that point created Foodie Heaven, which was a football documentary channel in a similar style as Out of Bounds. And that eventually started making like 3 to 5K per month. So he actually made it with that channel, right? And it took, I would say, around 6 months, right? It took 6 months to launch that channel and for it to become profitable.
Yeah.
Now, all that time, I still think like the ideation wasn't that great. Like I still had to help him a lot. The production was pretty good, but the ideation still needed a lot of work, right? And he still had a lot of questions always. Like he was continuously improving. So he definitely still wasn't at the best spot. But at that point, he wanted to expand too quickly, right? He was starting making profit and he wanted to start more channels. So he started launching some shady channels and one of them got terminated. And then that channel also just didn't get terminated, but the AdSense got locked or whatever. So he couldn't make money with it anymore. Yeah. So he had to start again, fresh, completely new. So he bought a new channel, a football channel. He bought one and he locked in again. And he recently came back to me. The channel is now doing relatively well. It's profitable again. And he came back to me lately with just some ideas and he asked me for feedback. And honestly, his ideation is at the same level as me. Now, it has been 2 years and most people would have given up if their entire channel got wiped out, right? Yeah. After they got profitable. But he decided to lock in again, even buy a channel, take that risk, right? Make that profitable again and continue sharpening his skill set. And now I'd say his ideation and niche research, like he even found a new niche that he wants to enter right now, is literally at a level where it would be similar to mine. And that shows me like he started from the beginning, like completely fresh, knew nothing. And it took 2 years, right? It took a long time, but he's now at my level almost, right? Which surprised me so much because I never expected that. Like, I love you, Mouse, but I never expected it, right? And he's here now. So that showed me, like, if you are just dedicated enough and delusional enough, right? Like, he asked me questions every single day. He wanted to continuously learn. He bought every course there is. He bought he commented under every X post with like reply for this PDF, reply for this PDF. Yeah. I think he gathered every single PDF that everyone has ever put out on the internet, right? Yeah. And he learned everything about YouTube that there is. Yeah. And I think if you have that mindset and that dedication, it's going to work out for you, no matter what.
Yeah, and he didn't quit in 2 years.
He didn't quit, no. Anyone would have quit at that point, right? Especially like Mouse didn't even need it, right? Like he's good, but he wanted to make it work. Yeah. And I think even if you're comfortable, pushing yourself that much is the way to success.
Yeah, and it's quite difficult as well.
Of course, absolutely, because he has a child, like he has a family, right? These people need attention. These people need his time, and to convince them that your path is going to be the right one and that they'll just need to belief
Trust in you, yeah.
and trust in you that you're going to make it work when there's no results or when you're back to zero is very difficult. I had a similar situation with my parents. They were always very supportive. But when I told them, like, I'm going to make 50K per month one day, they were like, what the fuck are you talking about?
But that's also the culture of fucking Europe.
Yeah.
Like in Sweden, if I mention that I run an online business, boom, like it's like almost a joke. People don't believe in the like in the aspirations people can have and to start your own kind of business. Like the culture in Europe, and why I think also probably why the society in Europe works really well. Like in terms of Sweden has been a great economy, all that kind of stuff. Like the reason why it works so well, but also a very sad part of it, is that people are just so brainwashed into just working or like getting an education and then working a normal job until they retire.
Absolutely.
So it's probably why society is working so well, since that, like, society doesn't benefit directly, I would say, from people launching a YouTube automation business, you know? No. They benefit 100 times more from a person just becoming an accountant and working as an accountant for their entire lives. Once
again, like, not to make this an Andrew Tate sort of podcast, but the brainwashing is really working. And I think a perfect example of that is the Netherlands indeed is a culture of, and I'd say probably Sweden or Scandinavia in general.
Think it's similar.
It's very similar. It's just like, just keep your mouth shut. If you're successful, like, keep your mouth shut, because people don't like to hear that you're doing well. You have to do equally as them, maybe a little bit better. They might celebrate that for you, right? Yeah. But definitely don't be exceptionally better than them, because then you're going to have an ego. You're going to think you're better than everyone, and you're probably going to have done some shady stuff like selling drugs or whatever, right? Yeah. Especially at a young age, there's no way you can have that type of money at a young age, right? Yeah. Now, luckily, I don't have that problem because I'm not that young. But I think a great example of this is last year I went back to the Netherlands, and I don't know how, but we got into this conversation with a group of girls, and one of the girls said about her friends, yeah, you should talk with respect to her, because she is studying to become a lawyer, and next year she's going to make 5K per month, right? And that was like, you should respect that. Like, that's $5,000 per month. And the thing is, like, I don't wanna just shit on that, right? Because it is still a lot of money, right? But for most people, right, and I think that's a mindset thing. For most people, $5,000 per month is like, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's a very good salary.
And it is crazy. Like, back in the day, I thought that was crazy as well. But now, indeed, like, if I were to then say, like, I mean, I could probably make $20,000 per month, right? Yeah. That would then be like a shock for them, and it would probably
be unrealistic. It's unrealistic. A dream, you know?
It's a dream, right? It's a dream, and I think the mindset is what keeps these people locked into that sort of like cage of this is fine. But on the other hand, I don't think 80% of the population should think like that, because most people also want to just stay close to family, have stability, start a family as soon as possible, buy a house as soon as possible, and they get enjoyment from that. And you don't need $20,000 per month, and you also probably can't get to $20,000 per month with that lifestyle in mind. So that's why I never really like to hate on it, right? Because a lot of people say that, oh yeah, the brokey should just adapt their mindset and everyone should become an entrepreneur. I think most people would be extremely unhappy being an entrepreneur. I
think I was like, it might come as a shock, but I think I was probably more happy when I was working 9 to 5 than when I was running my own business. No, I promise you, like, there's something deeper to this. So if you're working, now that I have experienced this life and I've made a lot of money when I was super young, you know, if I go to Sweden, I'm probably in the top 0.11, like whatever percentage. Mm-hmm. If I go to Dubai, I'm just mid. But really, when I was working 9 to 5, I was still in this mindset that you're talking about, that you cannot make more money than this. Like, this is like peak, you know? Or that maybe you're making 7K if you're having a super good education and all that. So I would say, since those were my expectations, and those were like, I was also, I don't like to say brainwashed, but it kind of is a brainwash. I didn't know that you could be making more money. So like I was just very happy and content with the current situation. Now that I'm making, 6 figures per month, perhaps, like it's never enough. When I was making 10K per month, when I was like probably 19, something like this, 18, like that was super cool. I was super happy about making 10K per month. But as soon as I hit that point, 2 weeks later, now I want to make 20K per month. And when I hit that point, a month later or two, then I want to make 50K per month. Like it never ends. And now even if I'm making 6 figures a month, I want to get to 7 figures a month. Like it never, like that's just why I think that I was happier when I was working 9 to 5, because then you're just content with the situation and like you don't have this constant kind of stress and expectations on yourself that you should be making more. Because even if I'm making six figures a month here in Dubai, I'm arguably one of the like brokies. I don't want to put it that way because
it's true.
I really have, like, I would never call myself or compare myself with people that live in these super poor countries and like have very bad lives or whatever because they don't have so much money. But in a country like Dubai where everyone is like top performers, the expectations are through the roof, I really am not at the top yet.
No, I agree. And I think you have to make sacrifices for that, right? Yeah. So many people come here alone, right? First of all, alone to just optimize their taxes and make the most profit possible, right?
Yeah.
Which is a good decision if you're young, if you want to optimize for the future, right? But because of that, they're going down in social skills. They might not find their wife early or have kids or whatever, or able to settle down because you always have to be grinding and locked in and then maybe traveling the world and doing all this stuff, right? Which is fun, but it's a sacrifice, right? And I think a lot of people aren't able to make that sacrifice because they want 50K per month, but they want to make 50K per month while sitting in their townhouse in their small village with their happy family and family clothes and all that stuff. That usually doesn't really correlate, right? Like for us to be sitting here, I think says enough. And I had to make sacrifice as well. I had to leave my parents behind.
Leave all your friends. And
leave all my friends.
Which honestly sucks, but like that's what you have to do.
It impacts relationships. It impacts social skills. Like last year, I locked myself inside in my apartment for I think a year straight. I maybe left for like a month or two for Christmas in the Netherlands and in the summer.
Yeah.
The rest, I was just only here in Dubai, inside, working all day, all night, right? When I got to a conference, I think a couple of months ago, that was the first time I went out again. I was trying to talk to people. I just didn't know how anymore. I just was like, I'm trying to make conversation, but I'm just continuously stumbling over my words. I don't know how to talk to people. Like I felt like I was just completely lost myself. Yeah. So in order to make huge progress in your life and get to these levels, right? Like 50K per month, because for me that year was all about getting from 10 to 20K per month to 30 to 50K per month, and that's what it took to get to just like 30 to 50K. It's still a lot of money, but still, like, you are on 6 figures. I'm not on 6 figures, so I'm like, if I now want to get to 6 figures, I see what you are doing. I see what people like Wanner are doing. Noah right now, I think, I don't know, is probably at like 7 figures per month with the software he is running. If I saw what he was doing in Cape Town, he skipped all the trips. Whenever there was a dinner, he just whipped out his laptop, right? Like, I'm not sure if I want that, right? So at one point, I think, and I even told him this, like, he was like, oh yeah, you're probably at like 6 figures, right? Like scaling to 7. I'm like, no, I'm at like 30 to 50, bro. Like I'm nowhere near 6 figures. So that's why I'm also like, I think for some people there is indeed a limit to where they want to go, and for some people that is indeed just 5K per month and living a happy life in their village, and that is also a good life. You don't need to be at these levels. And for me, it's also like this year I want to figure out, do I want to get to 6 figures? And if I want to get there, how do I want to get there? If I can get there very lean, purely based on personal brand, and have a small coaching company, and the rest is maybe just like, I don't know, affiliates and a digital offer that don't really require my time, and I have a lifestyle business, then it's fine. But if that's not possible and 50K is the max, maybe it is that way, right? Like that's what I want to figure out this year, because I realized last year I've sacrificed so much that I lost myself as a person. And some people are willing to do that. And I've seen people change as a person to become, and I think you need to change as a person to become the person that has to be at a level of 6 figures per month, 7 figures per month. And I know you're similar. I know you also like to have fun. I know you also like to travel. I know you also like to drink beers with friends.
Course,
and if you're at 7 figures per month, right? If you are going to be a founder of a software company, if you're going to have to bootstrap that shit, talk with VCs, whatever, I'm not sure if that is even possible anymore, right? Drinking beers with friends, sure, but perhaps not as frequently anymore, not as freely anymore as you can do right now. So that's why I think like at one point, yes, it's never enough. But at one point, it's also like, which sacrifices am I able to make and which am I willing to make? And I think the perfect example of this is Alex Hormozi is the biggest psychopath there ever is. He has skill to levels beyond imaginable. And he is arguably, I think, the hardest working person on this planet. And even he has now shifted his perspective. Like, maybe I should slow down a little bit this year. Yeah. Maybe I should start exploring like family and stuff. Yeah. And that showed me like, if even he can reach a point where it's like, maybe I should slow down a little bit, I think everyone is going to hit it. It's just going to be at different levels.
Yeah. No, I think most 6 to 7 figure entrepreneurs that I've talked to, like basically everyone says like when they're hitting, soon 30 or they're like 26, 27, 28, whatever, and they're making these crazy amounts of money, almost all of them tell me that they would rather like have chilled throughout their years and had more fun. Even if they were making less money, they would rather have just spent that money on all of these random experiences and just live life. So I think that there's really a point in what you're saying. Yeah, I don't know how much I want to talk about Dubai lifestyle, all that kind of stuff. But like with this software that I'm creating now, it's really more of a passion project. So I think it has a lot to do with what you're actually saying. Mm-hmm. I'm not creating this software only to make a lot of money or make like a 9-figure exit in the future. The software that I'm creating and why, I don't know, this SaaS kind of business model just really talks to me. It really speaks to me with building it's like an RPG game, building a software. Mm-hmm. So you kind of start at level 0 with your character or whatever, and then you just keep on building it. It becomes better and better every single day. The more that you're grinding, people enjoy it more. The more that you're building it out, it's something that you can truly be proud of creating. And I think, like with what you just said about being happy and kind of not sacrificing your happiness just to make a lot of money, it resonates a lot with why I'm starting my software, because I think that I will be more happy from starting this software rather than scaling a coaching business or scaling YouTube channels to 7 figures a month or something like this. So yes, I think also if you're happy whilst building your business, that will allow you to get better results.
Of course, but here's the caveat, I think, right? You like, and this might also be the case, right? So I think it's also important to self-reflect. I don't want to be a therapist right now, but...
I mean, I'm 21, so I might not be the most wise guy in the room.
I don't want to go all therapy session on you, but it could also be that you just like the fact of just starting new businesses, right? Like, because the thing is, right? You are liking the startup of the software right now. Yeah. But if it actually becomes successful and VC gets involved and all, and you have to hire developers and like it starts scaling, would you like the current position that, for example, Noah is in? Like literally, like you have to skip every single activity that the boys are doing because you have a meeting with yet another programmer that you might need to onboard. Right?
But I don't think he has to skip the activities. I just think he's built different.
In order to build the best software possible, you need to make those sacrifices. Even, I mean, I sound like an Alex Hormozi fanboy now, but even Alex Hormozi says like, software is just not something you can do on the side if you want to make it extremely successful, right? At one point, you're going to have to go all in. Like Sam Ovens sold his whole coaching company, went into the losses and shit, just to start a software company. Had to hire an CTO for like I think like it was a year or even longer, right? Just to make it work. And sure, I think you can have a well-performing software on the side. But if you actually want to make it the best of the best and really go for it, I think you will have to sacrifice that much.
Perhaps. I don't know if I completely agree, but I get what you mean. Like, if you really want to scale it to like these levels, and if you really want to become the best, of course, like if you're not putting in the work, then there will be someone that is outworking you.
Exactly.
There will be someone that is doing it that doesn't care if they're missing all of these things. But that kind of makes entrepreneurship, like, why it's so... I don't want to sit here and say that we're having these super hard lives and all of this stuff, because I know that if you're perhaps in a worse situation and you're working a 9-to-5 and all that kind of stuff, it just sounds like a load of bullshit. Mm-hmm. But entrepreneurship really is like, I've never been more stressed in my life than I'm now, and it has to do with what I said about being more happy working the 9-to-5 as well. But I'm not gonna sit and make ourselves like victims here just because we run a business, because like we've entered this space with this in mind, right? We knew that this was gonna happen, so of course we can't sit there and just feel bad about ourselves.
I think the main benefit of entrepreneurship is the freedom, but the main downside is the uncertainty, and all the outcomes that are coming from uncertainty are indeed stress, anxiety, always looking at your competitors, never feeling good enough.
And social media doesn't make it better.
No, but you have to be on social media because you always need to be up to date. Right. So indeed, it's similar to the debate of, is streaming more difficult than a 9-to-5, right? Like some streamers think it is, others don't. I personally think streaming is okay, this is going to be clipped, but I think streaming is more difficult than a 9-to-5, because when I tried streaming, man, I wanted to punch
Tried
people.
Streaming?
I've done streaming for a while.
Really?
When I was a YouTuber and I did Fortnite content.
Really?
I was a streamer for a couple of years, and honestly, like, people in your like, you have to be on every single day for 8 hours straight. People will try to rage bait you in the chat, whatever, right? Yeah. And if you respond to them, you will get clipped and you will get made even more fun of, and you will get rage baited even more. So in that sense, I think you're basically positioning yourself to get bullied and tortured mentally, right, by people in the chat that you don't know. So in that sense, I think it's way more toxic than a 9-to-5. But to bring it back to entrepreneurship, I think it also has to fit the person. I think some people just are never going to be entrepreneurs, aren't entrepreneurs, and that's fine. Yeah, that's totally right. Fine. And the thing is, anyone can dream about a lot of money. Everyone wants money, but if you want money and you don't want to become an entrepreneur, you're just going to have to accept the fact that that is your sacrifice, right? Look at all of these lonely entrepreneurs. Sure, they have millions of dollars in the bank, right? But if you are sitting at home with a happy family, everything is perfect.
You'd probably be happier.
You'd probably be happier. Sure, you're missing the money, but if you're financially sound, you can provide for everyone. That might also just be the only sacrifice you then have to make, right? And I could really relate to this in some way, because since I've been fairly successful at a very young age, I've been able to buy, all of these things that people dream of buying. Buying your first watch, like a first Rolex, feels amazing. Like, it's something that you've never experienced before. You feel super happy, but then after a month, you just want to buy the next watch. So I went and bought the next watch as well, and you're super happy for a month, but like, it never ends. So if you have all of this money, but you don't have anyone to like spend it on or anyone to spend it with, like, there will be no happiness in having the money. It will just be there to rot, and like, that's not a life I think anyone wants to live in. I think there's a lot of people here in Dubai that actually has this kind of life, which is quite sad, but it's just how it is. And then they substitute it with prostitutes, and it's true. Like, it is true, just to feel something, right? So it's not always as beautiful as it looks on social media. Like, there's a dark world behind it. Dark world. And I think that's also something like, it's amazing, but all the people that make it are also a little bit weird or just have something mentally wrong with them. Yeah. That's just like, everyone I meet, I'm like, they are similar to me. They either have autism or they're a little bit psychotic, like they're obsessed with something. In some way, They're weird, they're socially behind a little bit because, you know, they've been in this game for a long time. I don't think like, and that's why I think a lot of like popular high school guys or whatever, like most of the popular guys I knew from high school.
Yeah, they're working
9 to 5s because most of them aren't weird enough to get to this level.
Get into the rabbit hole.
Yeah, like when in high school and in college, I was literally making YouTube videos about random bullshit. Everyone was watching them and everyone was making fun of me.
Yeah, it was the exact same for me.
But I didn't care because I was like, this is the shit I like. And I just kept going. Yeah. And I think a lot of people just don't have that because, I mean, we can get into trauma from youth and whatever, right? Like I think there's also correlation between having some sort of traumatic event happening in your youth, whether it's rejection or not feeling good enough and then getting to this level. Like you need some sort of drive. For some, it's absolute poverty, right? Yeah. Like needing to get your parents out of the shit, like you have to be the provider. That's what drives a lot of people. Yeah. For others, it's autism and obsession and some other mental health disease, whatever, right? Yeah. For others, it's trauma, like never feeling good enough. For others, it's basically just getting girls, right? Yeah. Some people also just never had any female interaction. They think if I get rich, I'll get the girls.
One up everyone.
But there has to be something. And I think a lot of people that come into the programs perhaps as well, that's why a lot of the coaching programs focus on what is your why? Because without a why, you will never make it. If your why is just, I like extra money, you're never going to make it. Yeah. Your why needs to be deeply rooted in insecurity or a traumatic event or like making sure that your family survives, right? And that's when you get the best results.
It's quite funny what you said with the high school, because I was also in like the third year of high school, wanting to start some kind of business. I tried, of course, drop shipping. I tried trading. I tried SMMA. I tried all the business models that you possibly could try. Of course, failed with many of them, but everyone was making fun of me for starting this like almost stupid YouTube channels in high school. And it was like, always when you start an online business, you kind of look like a loser at start. Yeah. Because you don't know what you're doing. Like it's romantic in some way as well, because you look like a loser. Everyone just makes fun of you. But as soon as you start making money, it just becomes super cool. Yeah. Like then you're the shit. So yeah, I don't really know where I'm getting with this.
No, but I'm not sure if you become the shit, because
no, that very, very true. Yeah. With what you said, that many people are weird. Like most people that are making money, like they're just weird guys.
They're just weird guys with money now. Yeah. They were weird and now they're weird with more money. Yeah. Right. So that's why I was like, after that year, I want to shift my perspective a little bit more, because I used to be bubbly, good conversationalist, whatever. And I kind of went into ultra weird guy mode, and I'm like, who the fuck am I? So I think there's a balance, right? Because sure, if you go ultra weird guy mode for 5 years straight, you'll probably become like a deca millionaire, whatever. Yeah. But how you get out of that is I think like you won't be able to speak to anyone anymore. Yeah. So indeed, I also don't know any popular guy from high school, for example, that has become successful. I think all of the guys I know had a similar story where they weren't the most popular guy, or they weren't, I know, super like liked by everyone or whatever, right? It was you were always sort of different. And I think that is what is needed most of the time to get to these sort of levels. Yeah. I think anyone can get to 10K per month, but to get to these extreme levels, you need to have an extreme personality and extreme mindset.
Yeah. I think our time's up. So great talking to you, man.
Great to talk, as always.
Anyone who's watching the podcast, I mean, follow Leander as well, of course. He is the GOAT in terms of branded channels. Follow me if you haven't already.
Subscribe.
But, yeah.